in one and one. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the elements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst aboard the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath with all be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy
justices on the High Court are thinking about today. So the issue is before the court that the president's firing of former federal trade commissioner Rebecca Slaughter needed to come into question. So the Slaughter introduced the Congress designed the Federal Trade Commission to fight bipartisan in investigating corporate mergers and
to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs
Daniel.
hour after hour thy vigilance into
Daniel, are you there? Hello? Daniel, come back, Daniel. Daniel! Daniel!
and keen turned inwardness, no atom of analysis, fixed on one thought, securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind.
We come from Uranus. It is a planet in our solar system, the seventh planet from the sun.
In the United States that you were mentioning? So I think I can say that the president has that power. Did not have that power. He doesn't have that power. Well, Steve, I think that that's the point where we go into the nuances of he doesn't have no sure I asked well, he makes some choices about how you wanted it to go, and I was like, I thought it was terrific. As a
Pierce through the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I reveal thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star.
Why? Because he's our spiritual leader. He's the head of the church. He's the vicar of Christ. So if he can get me out, he's not out. And it would depend upon what he would say exactly. But yeah, I would like that. I would like that. They condemned you because you've admitted to the big racist. All this stuff. Well, this racist. I would be disappointed if he said that because I think that we're racist. It means something different to everybody. And so I think that's just silly. I think that's just semantic. But do you ever been in love in your life? Like romantically? Never. No. You took my spot on the phone. What's the problem? You don't know love. Oh, that's the way I am. What are you trying to say? I've given people 2 hours of the way you are. You're unashamed about a lot of it.
There are 7 keys
I have a problem. I think I'm cheerful. Unlike you, I need to be a little
first let the body of thee be still,
I don't like to be told police. I don't like to be told
bound by the
sermons
sermons of will.
about
Corpse rigid as thou layst aboard the frigid babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway its all From sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that spring enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inward miss. No atom of analysis, sixth on one thought securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn out thy being in one word next. Still that ecstasy prolong thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpowered, time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star.
Hello?
There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8 first. Let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes, the tease, the thought next. Let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that spring enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis, 6 on thought securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word next. Still that ecstasy prolong thy meditations deep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in Seven keys to the great gate, being eight and one and eight. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live be bound to the unlovable profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observance entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour, like vigilance. Intense and keen turned inwardness, no atom of analysis. Six on one thought, securely hid, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and stirred, burn of thy being in one word.
Still that ecstasy prolonged, the meditation deep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act.
All these things in one or power time, that the midnight blossom flower, the one that says, yet even in this, my son, no shall not do
If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling room, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of his consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here, thou the master of me. Thy radiance settles forth, brother of the silver star.
There are seven keys to the great gate, being eight and one and eight. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well till I be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense of service and tendency. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour, by vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward, miss no atom of analysis.
Six on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next till that ecstasy prolonged, thy meditation steep and strong.
Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one or power time, that the midnight blossom flower, the one that says, yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn my being in one word. Next to that ecstasy, prolonged, my meditation deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract my attention from the chosen act.
Bless all these things in one with power to make the midnight blossom flower. This is yet even this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. There are seven keys to the great gate, being eight and one in eight. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Let's let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be
entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis, fixed on one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up my being in one word. Next to ecstasy, prolong my meditation, sleep and strong, slaying even cautioning distract my attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one power. Time at the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, who shall not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling roots, discarding name, form, sign, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, oh brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 and 1 and 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of a will. Corpse rigid thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow. So that thy being be in tune with the great sea specific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and come place softly as a well to live, be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance. Sense and kings turned inwardness. No atom more than analysis. Fixed on one thought, securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. Like a flame straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next to that ecstasy, prolong thy meditations deep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one power. Time at the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, who shall not do amiss. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of a will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense of service entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis. Six on one thought, securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next still that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong. Slain even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpower, time and the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rose afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of the will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense of service entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. No atom of analysis. 6 on one thought, securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next still that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpower, time that the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rose afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Hopes rigid, thus thou makes the mold, the fidget makes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great seas Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs and hands, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen turned inwardness, no atom of analysis. Sixth on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next still that ecstasy prolong, thy meditation steep and strong. Swaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpowered, time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is, even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root. Discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this higher consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou makes the moors, the fidget makes that seize the thoughts. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great seas Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen turned inwardness, no atom of analysis. Sixth on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next to that ecstasy, prolong thy meditations deep and strong. Swaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one overpowered, time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness exists, even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, show thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and the 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abhor the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well-lived be bound to the one love of the profound. Let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs, enhance hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward with no atom of analysis. Someone thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unspoiled, burn up thy being in one word. Still that ecstasy, prolong thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one time, that the midnight blossom fly. The oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression short, thy glance to
My haircut's still crispy as fuck. I don't even want to lay down. I gotta lay.
Name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Yes, to the heart I lead thee. Thou art the master of reveal. Thy radiance that rolls afar, O mother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abhor the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. For let the light be pure and calm, swayed softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs, enhance hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward, miss no atom of analysis. 6 on one thought, securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being ecstasy, prolonged by meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen act? Last all these things in one power time, that the midnight blossom flower. The one is as yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression shoot, thy glance to rapture's darkling, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's specific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. Knows this. Sixth, on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like the flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prone, thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last, all these things in one or power time, that the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression shoot, thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sweet softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from from sense, observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance, intense and keen, turned inwardness. Love and armistice. Someone thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up by being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prolong thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Lost all these things in one overpowered time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce through the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver star. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to death? That is cancer, whose sigil is up. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Punch from the heights, oh God, and interlock with man. Punch from the heights, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to death? That is cancer, whose sigil is death. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to Chef, that is cancer, whose sigil is cats. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that equal to death, that is cancer, whose sigil is chance. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death, that is cancer, whose sigil is cancer. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suckers. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death, that is cancer. Sigil is your gem. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. The way to succeed. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is a sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to chaff that is cancer? Whose sigil is regen. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own, and nourishes the work. No seed is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. The way to succeed. This is the holy hexagram, plunge from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. The way to succeed and the way to success. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of a great, great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not the word equal to death that is cancer? Who sees your itself, this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to see, the way to succeed, the way to succeed, the way to This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not the word equal to chaff that is cancer. Who said you didn't start this work? Also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed, the way to succeed, the way to succeed, the way to touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset. When earth lies fades, he summons the universe and crowns it with magic and light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto and give homage to our Lord. To him he can sacrifice us. The first cake burns illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Uncondition, the absolute, burning up the flame of his flame, and born again, the phoenix song, the phoenix song, phoenix. The phoenix hath a bell for sound, fire for sight, and light for touch. Two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. We stand before the altar of the universe at sunset. When earth life fades, he summons the universe and crowns it with magic light. To replace the sun of natural light, he prays unto and give homage to our Lord. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Omniscient, the absolute, burning up the flame of his flame and born again. The phoenix. Two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset. When earth life fades, he summons the universe and crowns it with magic light. To replace the sun of natural light, he prays unto and give homage to our Lord. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Uncondition, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and the phoenix. The phoenix hath a bell for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth life fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with natural light. He prays unto and give homage to Roku. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burned illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes oath and becomes free on condition, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again, the phoenix. The phoenix had the bell for sound, fire for sight, an eye for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth life fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with natural light. He prays unto and give homage to Rahaku. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burnt illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to be the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free on condition, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again, the phoenix. The phoenix hath the bell for sound, fire for sight, the knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto and gives homage to Rahaku. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burnt illustrates a prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free, unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again, the phoenix. the bell for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earthlight fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto and give homage to Rahul. To him he then sacrificed. The first cake burnt illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free on condition, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again, the phoenix. So we know that the issue, the problem is that we don't have a media that's willing to call them out as right? That's the problem. I think we kind of want to be national. That's not what we're going to do. It's highlighting the issue, which is the new media that is not calling out the president or the administration on the ones that are further alive, that is narco-terrorism, that we are going after human right? Pretty much anybody would be honest that I've heard is willing to admit that's the case, including you and some of the other people up here, right? I actually, you know what I mean? Like, it's the disingenuous. The phoenix has a bow for sound, fire for sight, knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earthlight fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto and give homage to Rahul. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burned illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his lifeblood and Eden illustrates the use of the love to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again. The phoenix.
Which has the world's second or third largest oil supplies when you combine oil sands and When you look at Canadian,
so again, as interesting as this is, it's derailing. I'm sorry.
We're going to do our own
this is derailing from the topic, and I want to bring it back into the media crash out. So again, we can have this discussion another day. Much appreciated. Let's go to Coyote or Joe. Did you have something about the media?
About the oil.
Okay, I don't want to continue. I don't want to. Okay, that's not what we're talking about tonight. Sorry. Go ahead, Colonel.
Yeah, Dilly, sorry for the delay there. Hey, it kind of came to me because I think you just said that Elon just reposted that Nick is a Fed. Like, was that a repost? Did that just happen?
Okay. He commented a couple hours ago.
There you go. Okay, so now what we're seeing, I think, is starting to make sense, right? I have listened to Nick, not like I don't watch his podcast or anything, but you can't miss him because I watch a lot of stuff, right? So I come across this stuff all the time, and he is very open to the idea of JD Vance, and JD Vance's big sponsor is who? We've talked about this. His name is Peter what? Thiel, right? So I think what we're actually looking at here is a war between Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. And so if you look at it and you kind of step back and you go, why the hell is Nick acting the way he is? Because JD Vance and Peter Thiel, and I like JD, and Peter Thiel is creepy, like he's trying to bring in the satanic AI, kind of thing. But I think that's what Nick is doing. I think he's hedging his bets here for the future. Like, I think that's what that young kid, with a ridiculous following and everything he's doing, is actually doing there. So I'm thinking that's where we are. I think we're like, it's like, and both of them.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense because Elon can't be president.
No. I'm saying Trump is like both. Elon went in, and you certainly aren't telling me that Elon.
Okay, no, that's fine. I get what you're saying. Nick's selling out to the establishment because he's hedging his bets for the future.
Well, and he's doing it for. And there's factions here, right? So you have Elon's faction, which is like that's the one I've kind of bought into, and it's ridiculous to us this narrative, and we're looking at the Thiel. JD Vance thing that's happening, which seems unnatural now and creepy. So anyway,
and it kind of came together.
And it kind of came together. So anyway, that's what I want to say. Thanks for letting me up. See you.
Yep, thank you, Colonel. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, looking at the Elon's tweet about he's a Fed, then there's a post by Santron that says that Nick Fuentes knew Ali Alexander was grooming young boys well before victims went public. And so I've been using social audio chat apps for years. I've been using Clown House, Clubhouse, and Ali Alexander used to hold open court there with Andrew Meyer and other individuals. I don't know about the Peter Thiel feud between him and Elon. I'm not a Peter Thiel fan. I'm a former IRS employee at the Treasury Department, and I used to walk around and tour buildings with the commissioner of the IRS, and he's a former tax attorney. And he was pushing Palantir on all the attorneys at the IRS, as well as saying that he wants to see mom and pops be destroyed in courts. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm just telling you that people's psychology sucks. But also this daily feud between Candace and Nick and Milo and all these talking head puppets who to me sound like they're hyperverbal compulsive thinkers and speakers and delusional and just creating clickbait nonstop. And then Tim Pool says his show, he's pulling every day in every way. These social media influencers are doing the same clickbait news cycle bullshit on us, and they're part of the schmuck psyop. These stupid politicians are more worried about tariffs than our property taxes, income taxes. So I'm very upset that we live in clown world. And when I think about all the problems internationally, but then I think about the people that we live with here in America and just how brainwashed they are and how weak and pathetic and clownish and stupid and how they live in la la land, delusional land. We're 39 trillion in debt, 100 trillion in unfunded debt. So we have major financial problems, and the fact that the State Department every month is sending $7 billion overseas to the King of Jordan, to the President of Egypt. It's not just our citizens; it's the fucking government. Still, this is why we voted Trump, to hopefully have change. And every president keeps pulling the fucking rug on us. And so it's just very upsetting to see that we can't have fiscal conservatism or a balanced budget or a reduction in spending or paying down the debt or have some type of change to this skim operation. It's resembling very much like a mafia operation. And maybe that's what governments are, and maybe that's what we are. But it's just upsetting to recognize it and realize that if we invade Venezuela and spend hundreds of billions of dollars in some kind of new regime change operation, I don't know. I mean, is this just a mafia-run organ? Is it the federal mafia? Because that's what Peter Schiff and Erwin Schiff, his father, put out the Federal Mafia book. I'm just saying, I'm trying to run for Congress, and I'm running against the AIPAC candidate that has $10 million in the bank, and he's pushing FIFA on his constituents. His constituents don't give a fuck about soccer. His constituents care about property taxes, income taxes, and Pritzker here in Illinois, and abortions and transgender reassignment surgery. So I don't know what our leaders are leading, and they're not really educating us or leading us in any type of patriotic, nationalistic, intelligent way. We are the ultimate suckers, it appears. Thank you for letting me rant.
All right. Thank you for that. Good rants. And good luck with your candidacy over there in Illinois. Sounds like you're pretty based. I don't know what your policy. I can get an idea of what your policy positions are, but good luck. And,
I would guess he likes Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
I liked her resignation letter, and I don't know if anybody read it, but I read it. It's excellent, and everybody should read her resignation letter. And
I read it. It was based as fuck.
Yeah, it was extremely based, and it's very patriotic and American.
She took power, and it's so hard to get it, and then she quit. That's the problem.
When it's threatening your kids, and the president is. No, we're not going to have that debate in here either.
No, not that debate.
I'm not going to have this debate in here either.
No, there's no debate. The guy that just spoke, I wanted to help him out with one thing.
You're addressing what he said?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
We're supposed to be talking about the media, right? You guys keep wanting to
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I'm talking about that. So. The thing about the soccer is weird, bro, and I know what you're talking about, but Trump, he has all the fucking trophies. It's in his Oval Office and stuff, but it leads it to the drones. Here, I'll send you something on that. And they have also that, what is it called? Is David still out here? The AZAC or whatever pack? They have a different pack that's not that kind of pack. I'll send you that as well. But the thing is, Diligent, with remember when Elon put that out about Trump? Everybody went into defense mode, but he fucking put out some wild shit on him or whatever, and people started defending it. And also, when Elon did this last time to Nick, he hid his reply. I don't know if y'all knew that or whatever. He got community noted for that shit, but he fucking hid his reply. But I'm questioning. I can't wait to hear some of the the crazy MAGA base, what they have to say about that, because they were sure defending Trump against Elon, but now it's like, let's throw down on Fuentes or whatever. Because Elon wouldn't know if he's a Fed though. Probably is. They're all fucking Feds, bro. What are we doing? They're all Feds. All these people.
Well, everybody's lawyers. They're not just Feds. It turns out that in life, it's the lawyers that control banks. They control even doctors with lawsuits. So the guy that I'm running against. Not many people here have probably ever run for office, but the whole scam starts with petitions and objections. You go before your state election board, and lawyers literally get out any viable candidate who has any real change in them, and the scam starts there. So I have filed challenges, objections, motions. Nothing gets heard. and it's a total double standard. And to me, it's election fraud and voter fraud. But I would love for Diligent to expose how corrupt elections are and how difficult it is to change congressional seats because of challenges, objections, and these judges and lawyers that control it all. It's a real racket. I'm not O'Keefe, but I took my phone in. I recorded as much as I could. I live streamed the courts. And to me, what I have is evidence of election fraud. I'm just a little nobody in Chicago running for Congress like everybody else, but I'm telling you that the system is so rigged and so cooked from the very inception with petitions and redistricting and numbers of signatures. It is so hard to create change. I don't know what our Constitution is. We live in a society of lawyers. It's sickening, but it is a world of words and letters. And the pen is mightier than the sword, but it's a racket. And life is one huge racket, unfortunately.
It's AZA Pat. I'm sending it to you now. Unless we remove big money from politics, I don't foresee much change coming. This was confirmed. I'm going to throw it up in the Jumbotron because it's relevant. It's been confirmed. Well, Adam the Angler, a veteran, called, and this was sent to me earlier, but I couldn't confirm it, that who he was talking to on the phone, but he sent me the phone numbers. It's up in the Jumbotron. Adam the Angler, and good job, Adam. Adam the Angler called the sheriff's office in Tim Pool's county, and they could not confirm or had no record of Tim Pool making a police report about a shooting at his house this weekend. They said the last shooting was up in some adjacent town, and it was a murder. And it was weeks ago. So,
you want me to get him here, Diligent? He's from my neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's up in the Jumbotron, you guys. But he actually calls them on and good job. That's citizen journalism. He actually called them on the video live, and had called the police and the sheriffs, and waited for them to call back. And sure enough, no record of shooting. I'm sure he's going to say, well, we talked to the FBI. I'm sure it's
he's the one where they came to and knocked on the door or whatever for him making a comment.
Maybe the chickens called, and so that's why they're confused. Maybe it was the chicken coop. That's really where the call came from, and they're just confused as to who and where the call came from. Maybe that's what it is.
Is this Tim Pool you're talking about, Diligent?
Disavow.
Isn't it amazing though that Tim Pool?
Yes, Tim Pool, bro. Okay,
he's the guy that was caught taking money, right, from the Russians or something.
I disavow. Not according to, let's just say, hypothetically, that did happen, and then somehow miraculously he avoided any implication in that. Well, if he starts shilling for the government, is it possible that he could have gotten a deal to push narrative? Right? Like it's, you make it make sense. And then I think it's interesting that right as his numbers are tanking, and they were, right, that he, this so-called shooting happens that is, we've triggered tweet news on X. He's now requesting. We're going to bring him up. I've invoked the name of Timmy Pool. I want to hear what he says.
So his name is it small? Because is it small letter Pool we're talking about? There's a thing in the who now?
Okay. Timmy's Juicy Smouillet, is this French actor who. An African-American gay French actor, right, who lived in the suburbs of Chicago. And, it was a couple of years ago, and he was going to the store. He was walking to the store in his hometown at like 2 a.m., and in the middle of winter when it was like 14 degrees, and he got accosted. He was jumped. He was jumped by a couple of white men in MAGA hats who called him all kinds of names and put a noose on his neck and poured bleach onto him and screamed, "This is MAGA country," and then ran off into the night and disappeared. And so, you know, a lot of people didn't buy the narrative from him. They weren't, you know, all of the media, the legacy media, and all of Hollywood. They were all up in arms and outraged and justice for Juicy. The hashtags were all over Twitter and X. And it turned out if you interrupt me again, I'm gonna have to drop you down because you keep doing that in my rants. Okay? It turned out that, God damn it, I hate when you do that. It turned out that it was a fraud. Two like actual Africans, like Nigerians, were paid to do it. He even went to jail for it because it was for falsely reporting a crime, right? And so when I say Kimmy Smollett, right, it is a play on that story, right? That it just happened to be, you know, right at a convenient political time and career time for Timmy. He has the shooting. And you know what? I wasn't immediately skeptical of it until I read his first post. His first post was like, there was a shooting out at her house, yada, yada, yada. But then there was this little bit of virtue signaling, or not a little bit. There was virtue signaling in the post where it was like, because this happens when you speak out against evil, right? And that's when I'm like, oh, you're fucking gay, right? Okay. Like, not really gay, but faking gay. You know what I mean? I was like, this is faking gay. And so then I called out the fact that it was faking gay. And, you know, I mean, obviously it got some traction because he addressed it for about an hour today at his podcast. And it's still not any more believable. He landed on my chicken coop. You can tell from the reactions of my chickens that there was a gunfire. So he had no evidence or receipts to back up his claim, other than he's hoping somebody was recording the live stream in his chicken coop so they could come forth with the evidence that the chickens all moved at the same time, and that is how we would know there was a gunshot. And that was, you know, so after weeks of vilifying Candace Owens as a conspiracy theorist and for spreading misinformation and not bringing receipts, he comes up with this story of being shot at, and turns out he wasn't there, right? He's like, he didn't say that when he first virtue signaled. He didn't say he wasn't there. Like, all of these other fucking extraneous details emerged later over the next few days, which, why would it take that long? You know what I mean? And so we've been clowning him, and I would say rightfully so, and it just keeps getting better. So, Clinton, does that make sense? Does that make sense?
In fact, you piqued my interest, so now I'm going to step out.
This is all on my timeline. It's all up in the Jumbotron.
No, I want to go listen to the podcast now with him ranting about it.
And it was 2:00 in the morning, just like the Smollett case, and he wasn't home. But, hey, Diligent, can you play that clip since it's relevant for this space?
Which clip?
This guy, the one that posted about calling the sheriffs.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Let me get it out. All right. Well, first, we'll listen to Timmy, and then we'll listen to the guy. How about that? I think that's fair. All right. Let me go. All right. Here's Tim.
Incident, we were out, and I got a message just around 1 a.m. And it was vague and nondescript. Just there was an incident. We had to talk with your team, and then we started getting the details trickling in that a car had been lurking or something to that effect, and a shot was fired. We now know that it was 3 shots that were fired. We don't know exactly what or why, and we are desperately trying to rationalize. Maybe it's just random. Just somebody was driving down the road in the middle of nowhere in the country and decided to slowly approach our property and then fire several rounds, just for no reason, for fun, perhaps. At this time, for security reasons, I got these people screaming, release the footage, and the concern we have is obvious. To then show everyone where we put our cameras, that's not going to happen. And that's the honest truth. That's why I tweeted out if anybody had been archiving the Chicken City live stream, because inside of our chicken coop, it doesn't reveal, it's designed specifically not to expose the property, the location, or anything like this. And you would have seen the reaction from the chickens. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but... And so where's it riling up their audience, preparing for shows, people who don't like me, for whatever reason, saying that we're lying, making things up, none of this can be true. Charlie Kirk is dead. A couple months ago.
Charlie Kirk is dead.
We have a suspect. We don't know exactly what happened. There are many questions around how it all went down, what makes sense and what doesn't. We're an organization that's rallying young...
Yeah, so that's Tim telling you that the chicken coop, he's looking for footage of his chicken coop right now. All this is up in the Jumbotron again. Let me do the video of the guy now, making the call to find out.
Hello? Yeah, this is Adam. Are you calling from... I'm sorry.
Sherry Police.
Oh, hi. Oh, wait, you're with Harper's Ferry Police, not the Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can answer that question. Did the dispatcher relay what I was asking about?
Yeah, it's asking about, I guess, somebody's house was shot up or something.
So,
On December 6th.
yeah, so, Tim Pool, who's a large influencer, he put out a post on X on December 6th, the morning of, around 8 a.m., saying that there was an alleged shooting that took place at his property, and it was just really weird. A lot of half the audience thinks he's just trying to create some kind of a hoax to regain some attention. So I just wanted to call and just verify that if this even happened or not. This alleged, has he actually contacted you guys or not? I'm just trying to basically see if what he's saying has some kind of evidence or something backing it up, or that he just verify that he contacted you guys.
Well, the only issue I have is if you don't know the exact address, I can't tell you exactly if it has or hasn't happened, because the only thing I can do is look in the town of Harper's Ferry, which is very, very small.
Yeah.
And I looked back through our call logs, we've had no active shootings or anything in the town of Harper's Ferry, but Harper's Ferry is huge.
Okay.
So you're only going to get the incorporated part of Harper's Ferry talking to me. The sheriff's office covers all of the rest of Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
So depending on where he lives, I can't give you a yes or no without knowing exactly where he lives. And I can tell you, if he lived in the corporation of Harper's Ferry, we have not had any shootings.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what his address is. I have a feeling it's not going to be easy to find. I know he was doxxed before, but I have a feeling it could have been scrubbed. I'll try to see if I can find it, the address. Can you tell me, have you even had any alleged shootings on the early morning of December 6th?
We have not in the town of Harper's Ferry, but I can't speak for the sheriff's department. You have to talk to them.
Okay. Hello? Yeah, hi. So my name is Adam. I go by Adam the Angler online. I run a very small content creator, accounts on X and YouTube and whatnot. Tim Pool had put out a post on X December October 6th around 8 a.m. saying that there was a shooting that took place at his compound, I guess, his residence / business. I have a possible address that it's, I'm not 100%, but I just wanted to call and just verify that he has contacted you guys, like he said, because something about this just doesn't add up to me. So, yeah, I just wanted to see if he's being honest or not, basically. Okay, yeah, no one would have been hurt necessarily. He said in his post that it happened around 1 a.m. on the 6th of December, saying that someone approached his property and allegedly fired 3 shots. But then he said that, what's that? Tim Pool, he's a fairly large content creator. He covers a lot of geopolitics and whatnot. And so I believe he lives within your jurisdiction, as far as I can tell. So I just I'm sorry, what, say that again? You said a report was taken?
I didn't actually
Okay. I appreciate that. We'll see if he produces something more on the select shooting. Because he's literally put nothing out other than saying there was a shooting and that he was in contact with police. And I've called you guys. You haven't heard of anything. And I even just talked to an officer with the Harvest Ferry PD and the incorporated city part or town part, and they said they didn't have one either. So I'm starting to lean towards this might be a hoax, but I'll try to keep an eye on it and see if he posts anything new. But anyways, thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you. Have a good day.
That's crazy to hear. Wow. Surely there's an explanation, right? I couldn't see. I don't know.
Maybe he called the chicken police.
The way he communicates.
Well, it sounded like, if I had to guess, right? If I had to guess, I bet you his security did call him and say, we think that somebody shot at the property, right? And he might have trail cams or some kind of surveillance outside the property. It may have not have been conclusive, and they ran with it anyways. So if I had to guess, and I think I'm being generous. Hold on. I know you're triggered. It's okay. If I had to guess, and I feel like I'm being generous there. It was just the whole, this is what happens when you speak on evil. Like that whole thing, dude, is where I was like, oh shit, this has got some really fake vibes to it. So, but I mean, it's just, listen, I feel like that the media is losing, the new media is losing credibility, and I saw Benny Johnson do it too, right? It's this whole victimhood, it's virtue signaling. It's fucking virtue signaling. Benny Johnson's guy, the one that threatened him or whatever, that was months and months ago. He hasn't said shit about it, okay, until that Milo story happened the night before at Tim Pool's, right? Just want you to think about this.
Restart this live.
Milo says that Benny Johnson is gay on Tim Pool's podcast, and the next fucking night, Benny Johnson brings up the fact that somebody went to his house, doxed him, and threatened him. And